Tillman's Body Talk. We're going to do a special video for pilots with my knowledge on neck pain and what's happening to them. As I talked to some of them, I found that they had terrible neck pain, and I started understanding what they did, and I want to explain it to them. It's gravitational force, right? Here we're 1G. They fly up to 6 Gs at times. So a 10-pound head will go up to about 60 pounds of pressure on their neck pushing back. Then you add a 3-pound helmet and a 4 to 5 pound goggles in front. That's even more force. So you're adding 8 more pounds, which is really, as you multiply times the G, gets higher and higher. So you get a lot of complaints from pilots about terrible neck pain, mid-back pain, low back pain. And the first exercise we're gonna go over, we're gonna go neck, mid-back, and low back is the neck. So she's gonna show you some chin tucks. This is a basic stretch. It's level 1. It's just gonna start getting you a little bit looser in back. So you gradually do this. How often should you do it? 10 reps, 6 to 8 times a day. So this is the first exercise, right? They should eventually be able to push as hard as they can and not feel any stretch here. That's why people can't turn their head, because it's so far forward. That's why they wear out and herniate discs, because they're always on the same part of the bone. They're always on the front part of the bone. A pilot will fly 2 hours, 6 hours, sometimes longer, with this tremendous amount of pressure pushing back. Now, how do we progress that? We do a chin tuck and what we call extension or looking up. So this is a chin tuck, press in, and then her thumb starts pushing, and she pushes. And a good neck, I can push with all my might, and it doesn't hurt. It feels like locking your elbow. Okay? So she's gonna do about 5 of those, and she pushes, push, push, push. And as you push, you start wiggling a little bit, like you're saying no, and that helps you relax and you push a little further. Okay, so let's do 3 more of those. And then up, 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 push, 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 and come back down. And again, one thing I need to make clear is when you're doing this, you don't want pain going down the arm. Right? If it's going down the arm and staying, you're getting worse, stop. If the pain is moving up from here to the center of the neck, even if it's a little bit more intense, you're getting better. That's what you want. You want to feel this in the center, because it'll go to the center before it goes away, and that's called centralization. Okay, so one more. So you push, 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 and I push with all my might, and I wiggle. And again, in a good neck, that shouldn't hurt at all. All right, so now we're gonna get the mid-back. Elbows in, now look up, and she's gonna go up further, further. She pushes her chest out, she arches back. She doesn't lean back. So she's gonna do about 5 of those, push, push. Again, if I wanted to give more pressure, I could do that, and she feels it. I'm gonna teach you how to do that to yourself, because you don't always have a stretching buddy next to you. So as she does this, you can see her get further and further and further, and it's really taking pressure off of this. Understand, most pilots, what do? They try to strengthen and do all these strengthening exercises to help them hold the head. It's so much more effective if you have full motion. It's like saying I want to strengthen my elbow, but I can't lock it. You really want to get your full motion, so that if you do core or if you do strengthen, it's much more effective. Now for the low back, go ahead and stand up. Hands on your hips, and then she's going to bend back. And go ahead and bend back. Go as far as you can. Push, 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 push. Now that looks great. Most patients, when they come in and they have back pain, they're like this. They can't move. And as we get motion, they get better. So I like to say, typically any joint that loses motion hurts because it can't function right. Go ahead and push again, further, 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 further. So every pilot should be able to do this. And they should be able to go back further and further. And then they're gonna tolerate, their low back is gonna tolerate that prolonged bouncing in the head forward a lot better. Those were the basic stretches, the chin tuck, the thoracic extension, and the standing extension. So I'm gonna show you how to make those more advanced, and then we'll go into a little bit of strengthening. So for the neck, how do we advance the chin tuck and extension? We can sustain. So she can put her elbows here, chin up top, and then she'll roll back, and that pushes the neck until she feels a strong stretch here. She can hold it, start maybe 30 seconds, build to a minute, but that's what you want. You want to be able to hold this and do sustain. Now, why sustain for pilots? Because they're flying for so long. I really think you have to get to sustain. Now you build to sustain, you do chin tucks first, chin tucks extension, and then you start holding. So maybe at week 1, after doing chin tucks, extension, and thoracic, you start holding, okay? Another way to hold is to lie down on your stomach. Elbows up, chin up, and that it's not only gonna get the neck, but a little bit of the mid-back. Some things move fast, some things move slow. So her muscles will get tired of fighting, all right, at 30 seconds, and they'll start relaxing, right? The disc sometimes moves slow. As you get older, when you're 18, it's like a water balloon. When you're 35, 40, it's like toothpaste. It's really slow. So you kind of have to do some sustain to hold it. So to advance the thoracic extension and get that overpressure, we progress about a week later to someone on the wall. Go ahead and push in. As she pushes in, see, she keeps her heel down. She pushes her chest. This is a lot more force. It's like me pushing her, but she doesn't need me. So this is how you advance it. I would love for everyone to be able to do this. It really stretches the lats. So if you want to strengthen your core, you have to have good motion first. And again, this 10 times, 6 to 8 times a day is a really good thing. The next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna show the press up. It's another way to bend back, right? So if your hands are up high and you press up, that's gonna get more of the mid back, right? As you bring your hands down, right, it's gonna do a lower and lower segment. So it's gonna do lower and lower, right? So I'm gonna bring her hands down even further. Up, up, up. Now up here, what you wanna do is make sure your butt is relaxed, you're breathing out, and your stomach is sagging. And that's gonna help, that is really important. You want this to sag. Usually when patients come in and they don't have good motion here, you can see them because there's no sag, they're very rigid. It tells me their hip flexors are tight, and I would expect 80% of the pilots would have this. Go back down. So now we're gonna show you how to progress the press up. The reason we have to do this with pilots is they're requiring so much force. I have to have a stronger stretch to get to end range. How far do I want her to go? As far as she physically can go. So she'll do a press up. So that's her own pressure. I'm not helping. Go down. This is how to progress. Let's say I hold a belt. Okay, push up. Push, 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 push. Breathe out, relax. So now I'm progressing. Now you don't start here, you progress to here. So in about a week, go ahead and do 2 or 3. And so as she goes up, she can tell it's a little bit more force. How far am I wanting to go? As far as she physically can go. And that's press up with a belt with overpressure. Another way I can progress it is sustained. Right? At home, you don't have these tables that come up, but you can use 4 or 5 pillows. You can gradually go up to pillows. And so what I'm gonna do is, here in the clinic, I have them hold on, and then I slide up. And you can see how high I go, right? I do that, and I wanna build her to about 15 minutes. We start typically 3 minutes, and then go to 5 minutes, 10, and then 15. This is great pressure over time, right? So it's slowly pushing everything back the other way. All those things that are tight, guess what? They get tired of fighting. And when they get tired of fighting, these muscles, they start to relax. And this I would do before any flight that's over an hour. I would love for you to get and build and progress to this. And then especially your longer flights up to 15 minutes after a flight, I would do some press ups and then get back in sustained. I would do the thoracic on the wall and definitely the sustained extension. Now, when you come off of this, you can't just come off. You have to slowly go down. So if you're on pillows, you want to take one pillow, then another pillow, and then go down to where you're flat. So I have to go down slowly. Otherwise, it's too big of an adjustment for her muscles and they'll go into spasm. So now to show some strengthening. So after we've done those 3 exercises, neck, mid back, low back, now you want to strengthen. Superman's is a great one, right? Superman's, look at that. Look how high she goes, right? So that's what we want. We want you to go high. 50 is good. Just to get strong, because anytime you get new motion, you want to strengthen in that motion, no matter what the joint is. Another strengthening thing that you can add is a chin tuck with a band, which is, it's hard to do, but if you learn, it's very effective. You put your hands around and you start doing a chin tuck. So once my hands get here, they don't move. Chin goes forward, and then back. She wants to make it tighter, she moves her hands out further, and she holds it. Okay, go ahead and do 10. Good, and you can see her slowly strengthening these muscles. So now after I've gotten the motion, I want to strengthen it. Another one that we like to do for the mid-back is horizontal abduction, where you hold the band up here and then you spread your arms like this. And so as she does it, you can see it starts strengthening her muscles. It's strengthening her rhomboids, the muscles that bring the shoulder blades together, which is, these two exercises are really important because you have this huge helmet on and you want to get them stronger. But before you strengthen, you want to get motion. So if you sit without a pillow before a flight, you're actually hurting me because your head's forward, you're slouched. All the pressure is pushing in a bad direction because it's pushing your disc out. So what we use is we use a lumbar pillow, and a lumbar pillow about belt level. You sit back, your shoulders need to touch. It does a little chin tuck while you're doing it. It does a little thoracic extension and a little bit of extension for the low back. So when she sits like this, it's like she's doing a little bit of all three exercises at the same time. So if she sits for an hour, she's really helping me. So if you're driving to your aircraft, this is really good. Fix the way you sit. That's 50% of the equation. And that's Tillman's Body Talk. I hope it helps all the pilots out there. I hope it helps explain what's happening to you and the things that I would do if I was in your shoes to get better. By all means, if you have questions, shoot me questions, subscribe to my channel, share it to all the pilots. I really thank you for what you do, and I just want to spread some knowledge around to help you understand.